but I want to start with Jason A. Now, he has finally spoke his piece on the Gabby breakup on Nick Viall's podcast, The Viall Files, and I think this was a very important interview because there was no Jason A at After the Final Rose. This is his first exclusive time speaking about the show, and not a lot of us were big fans when he left because we were confused about the ending and why he didn't take the show seriously, or he just didn't understand what he signed up for. So he provides a little bit of context on the Viall Files, and here are some of the highlights. He's never watched the show. He said he wishes he's done his homework before going into it. He said a friend nominated for the show and he was hesitant but took it one step at a time and just ended up on the show. He genuinely felt like this was something real with Gabby that he hasn't felt in a long time, and he just wasn't comfortable opening up and sharing, all of his feelings, not to Gabby, but because he knew the world was watching. So his main thing is that he just didn't really want to go on a reality TV dating show. It wasn't his prerogative. It really just fell into place, and this was a very foreign concept for him. Some of the biggest tea drops is that they never spent the night together in fantasy suites. They had those off-camera conversations that, remember, he was holding back. And then once they were able to talk and share their feelings, he expressed that he was not ready to get engaged. It was literally their third date, and hometowns was only their second date. So when you see Jason tell his parents that he's not ready to get engaged, he's being realistic. It's his second date. The first one was in Paris. He literally said he did not have time with Gabby this season. Like, there was not enough time. He tried to be, genuine. He was genuine, but it just wasn't going to happen. And dating reality TV shows are just not for him. So I got to hear what you guys think about this. Kayla, I think you should start because you are the Jason A. stan of the group. Does this clear things up? Because I even know that you, as a fan, was a little disappointed in him at the end.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely was rooting for Jason and Gabby throughout the season. I felt like their connection really was special. I saw it. I felt like there was depth to it. There was like layers to it. And so it was interesting, and it was, I don't know, I guess confirming watching him talk about it on this podcast. But I think it definitely does make things make more sense. For me, I feel like, for Jason and Gabby, it was more of the timing. It was like the time that they got on the show, the timeline in which it's not that Jason couldn't ever get there with Gabby, it's that he couldn't get there of knowing if she was the one forever and being in love in 4 weeks, or however many weeks from their first one-on-one date till, the end of the show. So I think too, like watching him talk about it, I mean, if you watch the interview, I don't know, you can get a sense that it was really hard for him. Like, he felt heartbroken after leaving, and he was almost like, did I mess up? Did I make a mistake? Like, what did I do? And even now, he kind of talks about flashbacks of like being with her, and I don't know, you can I don't know, you feel almost like sad. I guess for me, because I'm the fan of Jason, like I feel sad for him that it didn't work out, because I think it was kind of just a product of the show, the environment and the timeline of everything, and not necessarily like Jason and Gabby just don't work, And so that's kind of my biggest takeaway. But I think it did show him a lot. So now he's single.
Kayla, you better slide in.
Okay.
Where does he live? Where is he from?
Not for me, but
he's in Santa Monica, California. So we'll run into him now that you're coming to LA. I'm sure we will.
I know. Maybe we will. That'd be so cute.
I'll slip your name, Kayla. I think I don't think that I ever thought that they spent the night in fantasy suites together. For some reason, I had this thought that Gabby only stayed with Eric, and then I was juxtaposing it next to Rachel, who stayed with all 3 of her men. So I don't know why, but for some reason I didn't think that they had stayed together, so that didn't seem like shocking news to me.
Same for me, actually.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that I needed an interview from Jason. I don't think I needed this. I didn't have any like unresolved feelings from him. I felt like I sort of already felt like they didn't have the strongest connection ever. I mean, they did when they were talking about therapy and kind of being vulnerable. They had some really like deep moments, but I wasn't vying for these two. I felt like she had a stronger connection with Johnny than she did with Jason. I don't know. I kind of felt like I didn't think that this was necessary from him.
I mean, I understand that. I do think that after listening to the full interview, that his storyline did play out on the show, where he basically said that he wanted to be open with her, but he didn't want to share it with the world. So I think this interview for him was just his first opportunity, and probably his final opportunity to just kind of speak on the show. I think that everyone, who goes on reality TV, there's obviously an edit. Jason, there was some new information, but I think ultimately he just kind of wanted to kind of close this chapter and, let his fans know that he truly was into Gabby, and just to kind of reassure them, because the show did film so long ago. So it's kind of catching up with him. It's been a few months and him reflecting.
Yeah.
So all love to Jason A here. A little frustrating, I think, that he went on the show to begin with, not doing his homework. So I'm glad he took accountability. And I think that anyone who goes on a reality show, you got to do your homework. You don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Or is it better not to, and then you're really going in for the realness or for the love, and you're not so manipulated by what you think is supposed to happen.
It's
true.
true.
I think you can,
because he talked about that
both.
as well. Yeah.
I think it's both, but I think with The Bachelor, you need to know how it's going to end. I think that was Jason's biggest mistake, is he truly just didn't get the process.
See.
Maybe
He didn't
another
realize
show
that
could
it
go
ended in
in.
an engagement. Nobody told him.
He really just didn't get the concept of the show. He didn't say
Maybe
that
the
specifically,
timing,
but
he didn't understand
Yeah.
how
Got
much
it.
time
The
he wasn't
timing.
gonna get with Gabby. Yeah.
that part.
Got it.
And the fact that
And I
Hometowns was
also
his
think-
second date.
Right. I also was just gonna say, I think this interview also might have been kind of throwing a line out to, I think he does want to have a conversation with Gabby. No disrespect to
Yeah.
Eric. I think they made that clear, but I think Nick was kind of saying it, and he was saying it we could do good to having just coffee because we never had a real closure, and he was looking to do that on AFR, and they didn't get that. So
Yeah, that's a
could've been
good
that too.
point. I'm glad you brought that up, Kayla. And, Gabby obviously is booked and busy on Dancing with the Stars, but I think that a phone call conversation would be great too if they don't want to meet in person. And if they do, that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with closure. I mean, how many times do you end a relationship
Absolutely.
or a friendship with someone and then you're over them, but you just don't have that final conversation because it's awkward. So you ghost them and you say bye. Sometimes
But-
those conversations are important.
Also, if you've realistically only been on 2 dates. I mean, he's saying they've
Well,
only
now
been on
3.
2 dates.
3 dates.
3.
Yeah, but
Fantasy
also
days.
saying
Third.
that he's also saying though that he's never felt, and this is just okay again, Jason Stan, I guess I'm defending him, but
I get
also
it.
he did mention
Bring
in this
it.
interview that he'd never felt this way about anybody the way he felt about Gabby, or maybe just never felt a connection like that before. So I think he was aware this is kind of a wild process where you can feel things very fast and very deep.
Got it.
But yes, but I hear your point though about we had 3 dates.
Yeah.
Am I
I
supposed
mean,
to propose
defend
after
Jason
this?
A at all costs. I would be doing the same thing for Avon. So we're all good on
Okay.
that.